And very often we are starved. Even people want to love us. We can't really take it in. Or we can take it in up to a point, but something inside of us stays starving. Looking at our lives, at ourselves and at people close to us, we make tremendous effort to be loved. People will go on and be a doctor to get the love of their parents. They go on doing all sorts of things to prove that they are worthy of love. All sorts of maneuvers, sometimes very positive, sometimes strange. But it's quite a common thing that we make a tremendous effort in order to be loved. It is essential. It is hardwired inside of us to make these efforts with our parents, with our friends, with romantic partners, and so forth. But what happens in so many cases, and to a degree in almost everyone, is when that love comes. We made all this effort to be loved. We were kind, we made services, we showed strength, we showed humility, we showed kindness, we showed achievement, we showed tenderness, we showed whatever, humor. And in the end of the day, we are loved. And then when that love comes in, very often we don't let it. We don't let part of it. Sometimes we don't let all of it. And very often we are starved. Even people want to love us. We can't really take it in. Or we can take it in up to a point, but something inside of us stays starving. And that starvation of love, it eats us up inside. And so many people, and for sure from my own life, this phenomena of receiving love, but not letting it really in, and staying starved, and then suffering so much from this starvation, from this pain of not truly and completely being loved. Now, a lot has been said, and there's a lot of strange workshops on how to get more love out of people, up to this very strange pickup artist things, and all sorts of very beautiful theories on the other side on how to be more loving. Very nice, like the books of Erich Fromm and so forth, but not so much has been said and explained on how to receive the love that is coming our way. And in order to receive this love, we will need, and this is what we're going to do in this lecture, is first to understand why we don't receive it, and what does it mean to open and receive, and what does it mean to not open and not receive. And then to see how we dissemble, how we dissolve this mechanism that doesn't allow love in and create, empower that which inside of us which allows love in.
So you can see here a little overview in order to understand a little bit the comparison between, as you see here in the headlines also, the open system, which lets the environment in, which is connective, which is therefore also receptive to the wonderful energies and effects of love all around, in comparison to the closed and defensive system, or let's say the state of our system when it is closed and defensive, therefore not letting the environment in and rather isolating ourselves from the rest of the universe, also in accordance not receiving love. Now, both functions are important to have within our being. And one of the, let's say, major biological correlations that you can make, you see already in point A, is that the open system would be based on an activity of the parasympathetic nervous system and the closed system of the sympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system is that part of our autonomous or vegetative nervous system, which is in charge for resting, sleeping, regenerating, rejuvenating, and so forth. The motto is rest and digest. So the parasympathetic nervous system, already just when you feel that sentence, rest and digest, it's all about actually taking in, lying down into the horizontal, floating off into the dream world, enjoying in that way, recharging ourselves, refilling our batteries. On the other side, we have the also very necessary part of our autonomous nervous system, which is the sympathicus with the classic motto, fight, flight. And nowadays it's a bit extended, fight, flight, freeze, appease. But all of these are, you could say, reactive verbs. When you just feel that fight, flight, okay, what am I doing here? Either I attack, or I make sure that I go far, far, far away from whatever in my environment is currently triggering this response. So just feeling these two, let's say, fundamental functions within our being. The function to take care of ourselves by a fight-flight response, not getting killed, that's a way of taking care of ourselves, making sure we run when the tiger comes towards us, or we attack in case we have a good chance, and also just being able to estimate, releasing enough stress hormones into our system so that we are able to run fast and climb that tree fast, or have a lot of muscle strength to wrestle there in the moment when it is necessary. One way of taking care of ourselves. On the other hand, we have the fundamental way of taking care of ourselves by replenishing our resources, rejuvenating, regenerating, eating, sleeping, also making love, enjoying, for example, in comparison, a long, extended, beautiful, intimate time with our beloved parasympathetic nervous system versus in and out to drop the sperm, get the pregnancy going, get the species to survive, which would be the sympathetic nervous system. Now, both of them play a tremendous role within our survival, yet you can imagine the fight-flight response will override the regenerative response whenever needed. It is a much quicker reaction somehow that we need to get from our system in order to protect us from possible danger. And nowadays, where we don't anymore have just the, let's say, evolutionary prepared for normal stresses of running from an animal or climbing a tree really quickly or something like that, and then being able to rest afterwards, rejuvenate and replenish our resources, we tend to have what we call distress nowadays, where our sympathetic nervous system is, let's say, disproportionately much active. So that tiger that in the plains and the meadows and the fields might be dangerous for some time, hopefully not too long, maximum maybe some hours or something like that, let's hope not longer than that. The distress that we have nowadays, that hidden tiger, so to say, is a continuous poke, so to say, that we get into our nervous system. For example, the dread of, can I pay my next bill or not? Will my financial balance play out okay? Will I lose my job or not? Will my relationship survive or not? And somehow our whole way of living in the Western world is very much centered around these long-term worries. If we will be able to, go to the mailbox this morning and feel okay about it, because there will not be like some red envelope announcing us that, they will, I don't know what, take our television or maybe our house or something like that. So the type of threat is really different nowadays, and it makes our sympathetic nervous system very much overactive, giving us somehow a leaning towards the closed defensive mechanisms within our being more on. Now we can see in the table under, and we'll now go through it, what kind of effects that has within our emotional states and emotional expression. So you have in the open system, in the more parasympathetic field or moments of the life, a profound state of relaxation. On the other hand, in case of the closed system, it says here agitation, we could also say tension, relaxation versus tension. The open system, energetic and emotional state, openness towards energetic perceptions, emotional perceptions, readiness to actually be intimate, to, in the old days, groom each other and hug each other and get some good cuddle time in that way, replenish our resources of oxytocin and get some happy hormones going and so forth. Therefore, a general orientation within the human being, that is, towards togetherness, merging, unifying, embracing, loving, to bring it to the point. On the other hand, in the closed up, more defensive style of the sympathetic nervous system, we will have a more mentally oriented state. Of course, also you could say instinctual, reactive many times, but driven by a very fast way of thinking. Hey, how can I react to this situation as quick as possible to move out of danger? How can I defend quickly? How can I attack quickly? This will be the mindset when we are dominated by the sympathetic nervous system. So there is more of a tendency to explain, to separate, to isolate, because that's the whole thing of defense, right? You put up a shield. You want to isolate yourself, defend yourself from the world around. Mentally, you would do that through explaining your emotions, for example, explaining in your head the emotions of other people, explaining in your head why they love you or don't love you, and so forth. That would be a typical sympathetic system response to, for example, a social situation. Then we have, in the parasympathetic case, or the open system, empathy, mirroring with one another. This is also what we call attunement. This is something that in psychology you will hear a lot when it is about the relationship between the parents and the child. And the child learns from the parent this state of attuning to another being. So when, for example, you have a child that hasn't received within childhood enough touch, direct eye contact, and just statements and sort of like a dialogue, a back and forth, an open back and forth about how the child feels, it might be difficult as that child grows up for them to attune themselves. It will not be very easy to be empathetic if that hasn't been learned in these parasympathetic, relaxed, open system moments with the parents, where the parent says, hey, you look like you're upset about something. You wanna tell me. Hey, how did you dream last night? How do you feel in this moment? You seem to have a lot of fun. All of these are sort of open system dialogues that we learn already as a child to attune, to have empathy, and to be able to mirror others as we are mirrored. On the other hand, in the closed system, defensive state, we'll tend to contradict others, to search for proof, how they are, there's a good reason to keep them away, because that's the whole point when that part of our nervous system is active. Okay, let's just push everybody out. So let's explain, let's go through all sorts of reasons. Why is it better to have doubt? Because you know how it is. If there is a danger in front, and then because you were silly and you got emotional and nostalgic for 1 second, and then you leaned in and then the tiger bit you, okay, that's really stupid. So therefore, no, let's doubt it for a second. I'm not opening the door. You are trying to sell me a vacuum cleaner. Let me triple check what is going on there. So it's this tendency to contradict, to doubt, and to have this sort of antagonistic attitude towards other people. Then you have in the open system, of course, the guards are down. You're resting, digesting, you're cuddling with your loved ones, grooming, and so forth. Guards are down. The whole point is to completely bathe in oxytocin and enjoy. Of course, on the other side, guards are up. I think this is pretty straightforward. Also, this reflects in our hormones. Usually cortisol goes up. Also, testosterone can go up. It depends a little bit on both the gender and the particular way you interpret the situation. On the open system, we have, of course, through this openness and guards are down, a more willingness and ability also to be influenced by the outer world, to be receptive to the outer world, replenishing your inner state with the contact with others. Of course, on the other side, you will be less influenced by the outer world, which is also good when there is something dangerous going on. You don't necessarily want to take all that in and be receptive towards it, but of course, this cannot happen selectively, right? So the wall will be up towards anything that is coming your way. On the open system, will be more oriented towards feeling, towards even interpreting very, very small movements of the face of the other. There's a lot of wonderful research about this, of just little eye movements, mouth movements, which immediately, that we observe in other people, which immediately can release wonderful happy hormones within our system if we are in this deeply relaxed state. On the defense system, more of a thinking mode, going towards analyzing, okay, from what I have experienced so far, what is probable to happen from here? If I have, for example, been disappointed in relationships before, all right, this is likely to happen again, let's not take the guard down, better safe than sorry type of way. So you are more engaged in thinking and cognitive processes. In the open system, it allows you to open yourself, of course, to positive influences, to wonderful, even cosmic resonances, to simply engage and to let yourself be enriched by everything that is around you. Whereas the defensive system will tend to, is meant to protect us from any negative influence, but as I said, that wall will keep everything out. And of course, the open system, that non-wall, will bring everything in. And this is usually where the, let's say, the mechanism of difficulty starts. Hey guys, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content on spirituality, Tantra and more.
And if you want to sign up for our online classes or for our retreats, you can see our website on the description below.